making it highly appealing.
Why is that in the... It's not even the old school RuneScape. It's RuneScape 3. Bro, get out. Modernized graphics. Shut your mouth. You're playing with polygons. Polygons. I can see. Your head is a octagon, man. I wanted to watch this because I found it. It said, I asked ChatGPT to rank the MMOs. And I'm curious where ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is super, super shitty to me. Calls me Bold Squadron constantly. It's very frustrating. But he asked them to rank the MMOs. Let's see where ChatGPT puts this place.
Plenty of videos documenting which MMOs.
You know, there's a certain type of thumbnail that has better click-through rate. And I want you guys to understand that it is all about the sword. Okay, it's all about that sword. There's no other similarities between these two pictures right here. Also, that is the Lon in a checkmate outfit.
You should be playing in 2024. We've seen the tier lists with people's subjective opinions about why or why not Guild Wars 2 might be slightly better than retail WoW. We've seen the tier lists that are so blatantly wrong, you wonder if the video might actually be rage bait.
Whoa.
That are so blatant Guild Wars 2 might be slightly better than retail WoW. We've seen the tier lists that are so blatantly wrong, you wonder if the video might actually...
I love it. D, mid, World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Zelda.
Actually be rage bait. But everyone says that their particular tier list is 100%.
What is that tier list? What are we talking about? First of all, I think we can all agree that cheddar sour cream, he's got that right. You have sour cream and onion Pringles down in the E tier? What are you doing? Get the out of here.
That their particular tier list is 100% correct. Their tier list is the truth, and any deviation from the truth is considered blasphemous. Yet still, everyone seems to have a different opinion. So why don't we just take the opinion out of it? What happens if we ask a program which is incapable of forming a subjective opinion to...
ChatGPT is absolutely subjective. It's subjective based on literally the internet.
Form a subjective opinion about MMOs.
It forms opinions based on what people are talking about at that given time. So if there's a lot of people talking about one certain MMO, when you query it, it's absolutely going to give bias to that MMO.
Today, I asked ChatGPT to name the top 10 most popular MMOs, and after that, I had ChatGPT rank each one of them and to give its reasoning. Now, before we get into this, I would just like to say that the opinions stated by ChatGPT don't necessarily...
Bro, come on, pussy. Come on now. I hate it. I love how I don't necessarily reflect my opinions. Please don't flame me in the comments. Please do not flame me in the comments.
Barely reflect my own opinions on
Too late. We're already typing
these games. However, I'll do a bit of a ranking on my own alongside the all-knowing artificial intelligence. So, the first order of business, we have to ask ChatGPT, what are the top 10 most popular MMOs currently?
We made that
here's
list,
how
right?
it replied.
We're good.
Starting off with World of Warcraft, obviously the quintessential, most popular, and well-known MMORPG developed by Blizzard. Next up, we have Final Fantasy XIV, obviously another massive contender in the MMO space. Number 3, we have none other than Final Fantasy. Again? Wait, no, Final Fantasy XI.
Shut up. Number 3 most popular?
ChatGPT says that despite its age,
If he says old school RuneScape, I'm quitting.
Fantasy XI remains popular among MMORPG enthusiasts. While this is news to me, I'm sure the game still has some players, but maybe ChatGPT is privy to some sort of information that we don't have. Number 4, we see mention of RuneScape. You'll notice ChatGPT just says RuneScape as a whole, but it further mentions how it has 2 separate versions. So for the tier list, I'm going to ask it to differentiate between RuneScape 3 and old school RuneScape in order to give each a separate ranking. Number 5, we have
If we get ranked below RuneScape on ChatGPT, I'm actually just done. Do you understand? I will refuse.
Star Wars: The Old Republic, the story-driven, fully voice-acted RPG that so happens to also be an MMO. Number 6, we have none other than Elder Scrolls Online, appealing
Yo,
to
are we
fans
gonna
of the
make the
franchise
list?
and newcomers
What the
alike.
hell?
Number 7, we have
There's no way that Black Desert didn't make the list. Is this a joke? We have Final Fantasy 11?
Guild Wars 2, that is Reddit's favorite MMO. Next up, we have EVE Online.
No shot that EVE Online makes the cut for the top 10 MMOs and Black Desert isn't even on this list.
I've personally never delved into EVE, but I get comments all the time from people telling me to check it out. Number 9, we have Black Desert
Oh, thank God. It's mobile.
Online, which ChatGPT quotes as having stunning visuals and action-oriented combat. And finally, at number 10, the last of what ChatGPT thinks are the 10 most popular MMOs currently, we have Terra. That's going to be another strange
That's a meme. There's no shot. That's
one for me, but
memeing.
hey, if ChatGPT
There's
says it's
no
one of the top 10
shot.
most popular MMORPGs, then
New World and Lost Ark are in shambles right now. New World and Lost Ark are Who? Jesus.
ChatGPT says Terra is also known for its stunning visuals and action-oriented combat, which is, interestingly,
AI
exactly
has a
what it said
long way
for
to go,
BDO.
guys.
I'm kind of surprised we didn't get New World or Lost Ark.
Yeah.
I wonder why it chose Final Fantasy 11 and Terra over those.
Because they're better. Because Final Fantasy 11 and Terra have better reviews than Lost Ark and New World does, dude.
Two options. So let's get into it. I have the tier list. Here are the top 10 most popular MMOs currently, according to ChatGPT. However,
If
there's
we're below
actually
RuneScape,
11
I'm gonna
MMOs
riot.
here because I split RuneScape 3 and old school RuneScape into 2 separate games. I've also asked ChatGPT if it understands the tiermaker.com rating system between S and D tier. It says it's familiar, so let's find out what ChatGPT thinks of some of these MMOs. So
I don't know about you guys, but it's really weird to me when a literal program refers to, yes, I'm familiar with.
familiar, so let's find out what ChatGPT thinks of some of these MMOs. So first up, we have Black Desert Online.
Okay.
I feel like this will be a good base, and we can make some assumptions about how ChatGPT is going to rate the rest of these based off of the first one. Personally, I think BDO is a pretty great game with a lot of complex and nuanced systems.
Nice save.
Let's see what ChatGPT thinks.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
Interesting. A tier.
Oh my God, bro. With its stunning visuals, action-oriented combat, and sandbox elements, Black Desert Online sits comfortably in the A tier, offering a unique and immersive gaming experience and to its dedicated player base. Amen. Based ChatGPT, boys.
Here. That's actually kind of high. It says BDO with its,
I mean, kind of high. Why are you surprised?
once again, stunning visuals and action-oriented combat and sandbox elements sits
Yeah, RuneScape down here.
comfortably in the A tier. Okay, I don't necessarily disagree. Next up, EVE Online.
No,
This
you
one
don't.
is tough for me to share what I think the rating should be, as I've never actually played the game. I know it's quite an old game with an extremely hardcore player base, so ChatGPT might need to be a little careful in how it goes about its ratings here. Okay.
Eve's a good game. It's got its dedicated player base, but it's missing, like, I don't know. I think when you compare it to modern MMOs, it's a C tier MMO probably. Maybe it's B tier if you're being generous. You know what I mean?
Okay, remember, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just relaying ChatGPT's thoughts here. EVE Online gets placed firmly
Based ChatGPT. That's all I'm gonna say, guys, is ChatGPT has nailed it.
in C tier. It says due to its niche appeal and steep learning curve, which I
Yeah.
would tend to agree with,
Yep.
everything I've personally seen about EVE seems exceptionally complicated and hard to pick up as a new player. Alright, I think we're getting a
No, I think Eve got better when PA bought it, to be honest. But
feel for how
I don't play it regularly, so I wouldn't know.
ChatGPT is going to be rating these. I'm really interested to see what it's going to do for Final Fantasy 11 and Terra.
Yeah, what
because
is
those
Terra?
are just some really strange additions
Yeah.
to this list. But next up we have
Pretty
Elder
watch-
Scrolls Online, which is one
Elder Scrolls Online is B. Maybe A if Black Desert's in A. But I think Elder Scrolls is B just because it's combat when compared to MMOs. Or I mean compared to BDO. If BDO is in the A tier because its combat and graphics are really good, Elder Scrolls is not in the same tier. It's B tier then. But like, I don't know. There's redeeming qualities about
One of
Elder
my
Scrolls.
personal favorites, so let's see what it thinks. B tier. Okay, that's fair.
You think I pre-watched it, guys? To be honest, like you think I pre-watched this?
It says ESO secures its spot in B tier with its expansive world, rich lore, and diverse
Really, they just
gameplay
asked
mechanics.
me on ChatGPT.
Although it may not have the same level of widespread appeal as some other MMORPGs. That's totally fair, and I think for me personally, it would be somewhere between A and B tier, but I'm okay with this. All right, depending on ChatGPT's answer with this one, we could really ruffle some feathers. There's probably a large population of
Is this Final Fantasy 11?
MMO players who
It's D tier.
would put Final Fantasy 14 as the
Okay, Final Fantasy 14 belongs in like probably the A tier. Yeah. I think that Final Fantasy is a really solid game because of its rating system. Like its raids are really good, and then the questing is good, and then everything else is pretty dog shit. But like I think it belongs in the A tier.
The only S tier MMO on this entire tier list.
They put it in S?
Okay, this is interesting because,
well, it's A. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's not a low rating, and I think it's actually totally fair, but the implication of A tier, well, that means that ChatGPT thinks that Final Fantasy XIV and Black Desert Online are the same quality.
I think they are the same quality, but in different ways. I think that Black Desert's combat and graphics look better, but Final Fantasy wins out in other ways, like raids and stuff. You know what I mean? Like
of MMO.
I think that they are pretty close.
Listen, I haven't played enough Final Fantasy personally to be able to say.
I also have not played a crazy amount, but I've watched countless hours of Final Fantasy content. So like I'm kind of an expert. Trust me, I'm a physician.
If it's on par with or equal to BDO. But just taking a look at the population, I know that Final Fantasy is quite a bit more popular. Though popularity doesn't always mean that a game is better or worse. Do with this info what you will. I'm moving on.
I don't really like the combat.
Final Fantasy. This is going to be super interesting because I feel like objectively Final Fantasy 11 is a much older game with a struggling, almost
This is D tier, right? Like this is D. We're not even going to talk about this. F, D, F.
Player base. So how is ChatGPT going to justify it even being in this list? Really? B tier.
Elder Scrolls and this. Chat. Corporate wants you to tell us the difference between these two pictures. They're the same picture.
What does the B stand for? Blasphemy? Final Fantasy XI earns its spot in the B tier due to its longevity.
Oh my god. At least we beat Final Fantasy 11, guys.
Deep gameplay mechanics.
Holy shit, the ESO players are pissed.
Nostalgic appeal? Although its aging graphics and mechanics may deter some new players. My poor ESO getting placed right beside Final Fantasy XI. Listen, folks, you can't make this make sense. But who knows, ChatGPT might have some external information that's not quite available or comprehensible to us lowly humans, okay?
Yeah,
still, I'm not happy about this one. Ouch.
Yeah, no.
Next up, Guild Wars 2, like I said, Reddit's favorite MMO.
Honestly, Guild Wars probably goes in the A tier just because the mounts are sick. I don't know, like...
ChatGPT needs to be careful with its response.
It's either A or B. I think that some of the the graphics and the combat are a little bit outdated for sure, no question. But like, I don't know, like the mounts are really cool and it's a really good game.
Response here, as I've seen the hive mind over in r/.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably gonna be S tier for ChatGPT.
MMORPGs get very angry for a lot less. Also B tier for its dynamic.
Based. Put them in the finalists. Final Fantasy 11 and Guild Wars 2, these are equal. These are the same. Okay? These are equal games. Equal games. Equally less good than Black Desert Online.
Event system, player-driven economy, and unique combat mechanics. Although it may not be as popular as some of the top-tier MMORPGs.
Holy shit.
Okay, wait, hold up. I kind of agree with this. Ignoring the fact that Final Fantasy XI is also in B tier, it kind of makes sense that ESO and Guild Wars 2 are in the same.
Yeah, I would put that. Yeah, having these two in the same tier is not bad.
Spot. No, seriously, listen. They both have good horizontal progression systems. They both focus on map completion.
Yeah, the graphics and the combat are super. like pretty outdated though. So like, yeah, I could see B tier.
They both feature open world
The mounts are
PvP.
really cool,
They're
though.
really quite similar, and I think a lot of the time it kind of comes down to just personal preference when deciding which
UI,
one
yeah,
is a
that's
better
kinda rough.
fit for you to play. Okay, so I kind of understand ChatGPT, at least here. Next up, we have Star Wars: The Old Republic, probably the best.
C tier. I played Star Wars: The Old Republic. I haven't played it recently, but C tier probably.
Story-driven MMO out currently, especially with almost the entire
It
game
belongs
being
alongside
voice-acted.
Eve.
ChatGPT says
It's not
C
D
tier.
Yeah, yeah. God, man,
What?
ChatGPT kind of nailing it. It's had a miss or two, but like, kind of nailing it. It belongs alongside Eve.
Despite its captivating
So-
storylines and Star Wars universe setting, Star Wars: The Old Republic falls into the C tier due to its aging mechanics and relatively smaller player
It's
base
old.
compared to other MMOs. Okay, listen up, ChatGPT. There's
Okay,
more people
yeah.
playing Star
Dog.
Wars: The Old Republic than Final Fantasy XI.
Doesn't make it a better game. Got him.
Okay,
It does, but yeah, that's.
I disagree with C tier.
I mean, I agree with the C tier for Star Wars, The Old Republic. I disagree with Final Fantasy
For
11
this
even being
one,
on the list,
personally.
bro.
All right, next up we have another one I've never personally played, and so I'm confused as to why ChatGPT thinks it's one of the most popular MMOs currently, but Terra.
Let's
Oh.
go, baby! D tier! I was about to say D tier, get it down there.
Our first D tier. Due to
Bam!
its declining player base, aging graphics, and relatively limited appeal
Get it
compared to
outta
other
here.
MMOs on the list. I think I agree with this.
You
Like I
can't
said, I've
even
never
play
played
it,
Terra,
like-
and I'm sure it has its moments, but it's generally not viewed as one of the best MMOs out there currently.
When it was released in like 1950, yeah, it was a really good MMO.
At least by most MMO players' standards. So I don't think this is actually too contentious of an opinion for our first D tier. Okay, World of Warcraft.
Okay, yeah, this is, it's going to put it in the S tier. Just get it over with. Let's be honest. Here's the hot take. World of Warcraft belongs in the A tier.
Draft time. Similar to Final Fantasy XIV, whatever opinion ChatGPT has here could potentially ruffle some feathers. But let's see. Wow, our first S tier.
Yeah, shocked, really, guys.
ChatGPT says that World of Warcraft remains at the top tier due to its extensive content, rich lore, large player base, and long-standing reputation as one of the most iconic
Yay.
MMOs in history.
Yeah, it's really, people are just playing it because nobody can really come out with an MMO that hits that World of Warcraft itch in the same way that WoW hit it. And so everybody just keeps playing WoW, hoping that the next MMO is going to be better. And newsflash, guys, it's not.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with this either. WoW
First
was
of its
really the
kind.
first mainstream
It wasn't the first MMO, but it was the first one that got it right.
MMO to ever exist. Now, I mean, is retail WoW still S tier in the year 2024? That's a bit more debatable. But in the grand scheme of things, for many people,
Classic WoW is probably better, but like I don't like the graphics in Classic WoW. Just kill it for
WoW
me.
was the one and only MMO. And
least the
finally, we
rune-
have our two RuneScapes
Not in A tier. Below A tier. Below A tier.
remaining. Some of the older viewers of my channel will know that I actually started this YouTube channel creating mostly RuneScape 3 content. I ended up actually leaving that scene because of the direction that I saw the game going. I
Amen.
no longer wanted to play
You didn't want to play it because it's an old ass game and you wanted to play something new. Okay.
much
That's
RuneScape
right.
3. I've been playing either version of RuneScape since I was very young,
Please.
and even to this day, I still log in from time to time.
No.
So these games I have
No.
lots of opinions on.
Don't
but let's
you
go ahead and
dare.
see what ChatGPT thinks. First off, we have RuneScape 3. There's no shot.
It's D.
RuneScape 3 gets
D.
placed into A tier because it offers modernized graphics, expansive content updates, rich storyline, and diverse gameplay mechanics, making it highly appealing.
Why is that in the... It's not even the old scoop RuneScape. It's RuneScape 3. Bro, get out. Modernized graphics. Shut your mouth. You're playing with polygons. Polygons. I can see. Your head is a octagon, man. Modernized graphics. Unreal Engine 0.5.
Appealing to many players, that's questionable. Interesting, I didn't know that Jagex owned ChatGPT as well. Listen, I'll be the first to tell you that I think that RuneScape 3 is an underdog in the MMO space.
No,
I don't
Steve.
think it's as bad
No, it's D tier. Get out.
bad of a game that some people, especially OSRS players, make it out to be. But an A tier beside Final Fantasy XIV? I don't know about.
And Black Desert? Hello? Yeah, like the modernized graphics of this game are equivalent to Black Desert. Today I learned.
I don't think it's as bad of a game that some people, especially OSRS players, make it out to be.
No,
but an A tier beside Final
old
Fantasy
school
XIV?
RuneScape's even no.
I don't know about
Get
that.
out of here.
Now, depending on what it says for the last and final game on our list, I might not even be able to post this video. Next
right.
up, we have old school RuneScape, coming off the heels of an A tier for RuneScape 3. I hope that ChatGPT has thought through this properly. Okay, that's really the only answer that's acceptable after the.
Why? Dude, why is old school RuneScape always stop playing this game? Stop. You have a 4090 in your computer. Stop playing old school RuneScape. It's a joke, man.
The previous debauchery. Old school RuneScape finds itself also firmly in S tier beside World of Warcraft. ChatGPT says that OSRS has a strong nostalgic appeal, simplicity, accessibility, and a thriving community, making it one of the top choices.
I hate this. I hate it.
For the MMO enthusiast. Fair enough, ChatGPT. Fair enough. All right, listen, folks, that's the tier list. ChatGPT doesn't actually have any opinions.
Disgusting.
It came to these conclusions based on whatever information it was fed, and however it algorithmically decided to output these quote-unquote opinions. Do you guys agree with this list? I know I don't. I agree with parts of it.
Play it and find out why PA copied old school RuneScape and EVE Online tried to create BDO. Yet you understand that Perlibus did it better. Black Desert is the updated graphics version of old school RuneScape, but like with way better combat and shit too. Why in the hell would you ever play this when you could play... that? It's not even close. It's not even close. What are we even talking about? They're both super grindy games. They both have good life skilling stuff. Like, this one's got way better waifus. I hate it. Always with the old school RuneScape. There's a video right there. Go give Wade out a thumbs up there. W video. Speaking of dead games. Speaking of dead games. This is Narc. This guy basically